Hi, welcome to Lazy Cat Reactions. If this is your first time joining me because you are interested in Heartland, welcome. I'm really happy to have you here. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you very much for giving this react a look. I hope that you will enjoy it. As you can see from the title, this is the series premiere of Heartland. I've been wanting to do the show for a while. When I created my channel in 2021, I was debating, what shows to do, and Heartland was on the list. But I didn't realize at the time when I first was preparing everything that it had 15 seasons, much like Supernatural. So I decided I would have Heartland basically be what I did in 2022. So I pushed it aside for the year and decided that 2022 it would be Heartland and obviously a couple other shows. So now here we are in 2022 and I am going to be starting Heartland. As I just said, it has about 15 seasons. It looks like here on Netflix there's at least 13. So my guess is that by the time I get through these 13 seasons here on Netflix, hopefully season 14 will be there, and or possibly season 15. I don't know if Heartland is going on for season 16. And to be honest, I know very little about it. I just know that it is a popular show because it's had 15 seasons and is based in Canada. And like I said, I've been wanting to do this show for a while. I thought it sounded interesting, and some of my reacts, you have things like Chucky, which of course is going to be horror, or Secret Diary of a Call Girl, which is mostly about sex. And I like having the different variety of shows. I think a lot of us reactors do that. And so the nice thing with Heartland is I think it's going to be more family friendly. I think it's going to be drama, comedy, and so I'm looking forward to kind of having that aspect. I'm looking forward to something that doesn't have a whole lot of effects, but hey, we got horses, and that is always a plus. So I am excited to start Heartland. I don't have a lot to say because I don't really know what I'm getting into, but I thank you for joining me, and let's get started. Here we go. Ooh, it's starting off in the store. It's rated TV 14, so a little more mature than I thought. What are the horses?
What if Mr. Mallon comes back? I hope he does. What he did to this horse.
No, baby!
It's okay.
The horse spooked.
Settle down once we're on the main road.
Hi, baby.
Don't worry. We're doing the right thing.
Hi.
Thanks, Mom.
Oh, shit. No! What about the horse? Okay, the horse came off. The trailer unhooked. Well, that's a way to start a TV show. Alice. Coming home. She didn't make it.
What was the perfect part, Mom? She laughed and said, "No flies." I try and tell myself that she lived an amazing life and that she died doing what she loved to do. I just wish she didn't have to die so soon.
Someone off in the distance. Chris Potter. He's in the Good Witch movies. This is the show he went to. Why he didn't return to Goodwitch.
There was an accident.
Well, yeah, she was in the accident.
It's not the physical injuries I'm worried about.
Oh.
A lot of horses haven't recovered from a trauma like that.
Well, you're the vet. What are we
Poor
looking at?
baby.
Well, Marion always used to tell me, never give up on a horse. But I considered putting him down
No!
sooner rather than later.
He might get over the trauma.
Well, my daughter died trying to save that horse, and I want my granddaughter to grow up thinking that she died for that.
Exactly. So she's blaming the horse for her mother's death, which is unfair. It's not the horse's fault. She'll look at it as, well, if the horse hadn't been in trouble, Mom wouldn't have gone out and she'd be alive and blah, blah, blah. But that doesn't mean anything, because she could have been out on the road for another reason. She could have died a different way. So, you don't blame the horse. And, of course the horse is going through some trauma. It doesn't want to be in that trailer because of what it experienced. So yeah, you can understand that the horse would maybe have some PTSD. I'm hoping that by the end of the episode that Amy has kind of become like the horse whisperer, and is able to calm the horse and kind of befriend it. Obviously she's going through a lot of heartache, and her older sister, of course, doesn't seem to be helping too much. She wants to get back to New York. She was, asking about why did Mom go out. So yeah, we're definitely starting to get things established. And like I said, the scene of Chris Potter, I'm guessing he's the father, the estranged father. So, maybe he left to pursue something else. I'm sure we'll find out. But he was kind of there on the edge of the funeral, watching everything, but obviously didn't approach. Because obviously he didn't go up to the daughters either, or say anything to them. But they're probably going to have to do something in order to save the ranch, since there are unpaid bills. And with there being, basically 15 seasons, I'm sure they will. Anyways.
Babes.
You mean my granddaughters?
Granddaughters. Oh wow, you look old enough to have granddaughters.
Here's the deal with them. You keep 10 feet away at all times. Any part of you that crosses that line will be removed.
It's okay.
At least she's finally coming to talk to the horse. The horse remembers her.
Mom always told me never to go near Alan's farm. I was out riding, and there was a storm coming, so I decided to take a shortcut. And then I heard him. Like he was calling me. So I went, oh, Mom. And that's why Mom's dead. It's because of me.
No. I think Lou means well. Obviously she grew up on that farm and everything, but, she sees it that it's kind of a dying area, and she thinks if she can sell it and give it to someone who can turn it around. I do think she cares about the horses, and I think she wants to put their well-being, but she comment about I think we're charging too much. Obviously, you got a lot going on in this first episode, you know, because we got the mother dying, you've got the PTSD with the horse, the unpaid bills, and the family dynamic. So, but I think they'll turn around, obviously, because we've got so many seasons. And like I said, I think by the end of this episode, Amy and that horse are going to start making a connection. Okay.
Sorry it took so long to get back.
You don't need an excuse to come and see
I don't know where I've seen her, but I've seen her.
anything to
If I can afford it, I might just try, but Lou tells me we're in default on our loan and the bank can call it in at any time.
You're sitting on land worth millions, and you're straightening nails to mend fences. I mean, come on. Put a for sale sign on Heartland. Buyers will beat a path to your door. You know, I might be the first in line.
I always figured I'd have something to pass on to my grandkids. Not just money. A place they could call home.
I've got a bottle of single malt. That's older than both those gals of yours put together.
How long has she been out there?
She was already at it when I got her. What's she doing? She's trying to get that horse to
Right? I've got tears in my eyes. Yay! As she said, the horse doesn't lie, you know. And like I said, I can understand, again, the PTSD with the horse. But if anything, the horse should be mad at the bastard who abused him, you know. They're both going to heal together, which of course is what's important. And now that she's made progress with Spartan, it's going to happen. I wonder how old Spartan is. I don't know if they've said his age yet. But, you know, we have the progress, so I'm guessing she's going to be the only one who can handle Spartan. I'm going to have to redo my makeup. It's not even a sad moment. Keep going.
You want to call your cell phone?
The only problem is I don't have a cell phone.
Tell me about it. That's why I got you.
He just randomly bought her a cell phone?
You know that guy?
Yeah, he works for us.
Mom Strays?
Yes. Oh my god, it's a camera movie and everything!
Hey, isn't that... He is hot. And he's totally alone.
Not for long. There's Ashley. Party one. Looks like she can fall for your big hero act.
Well, she should appreciate that he was trying to help. Yeah, those two obviously are going to become involved at some point. You know, they gotta lay the groundwork for everything and then have it move from there. And it looks like Lou might be getting together with that other guy. Was he the vet? Because of course she's gonna have to stay at Heartland and run the farm. Not a whole lot that I can say right now, you know, because I'm going ahead and I'm absorbing it all. So, only about 7 minutes left of the first episode. So, let's complete that, and then we'll go from there. She's walking home.
Boys, baby.
Yay! That was pretty good, you know? Like I said, obviously we're still getting everything established with the show and the characters. It's obviously going to take a while. We've got the Chris Potter character who ran out on the family, who eventually is going to work his way back into their life. Amy obviously is in high school, and so it looks like she was dating that guy, Jesse. but broke up with him. And as I said, she's eventually going to get with that ranch hand. And, you know, Lou was saying she doesn't know when she's going to be coming back, so obviously she's going to be quitting her job. And, you know, back then, it was less common to do telecommuting. Otherwise, depending on what her job is, she could have maybe telecommuted, you know, stayed there at the ranch and still done her job. You know, nowadays, of course, that wouldn't be a problem. She could talk to her boss, again, depending on what her position is, and just end up working from that location, you know, have Zoom calls, maybe occasionally fly out, but have Zoom calls and just do her work from where she is, and then she can still also manage the ranch. So, of course, Amy and Spartan are going to be BFFs. I think Spartan knows and appreciates that he's away from that asshole. You know, we don't give animals enough credit. They're smarter than we think, especially horses. You know, people act like horses are dumb, but horses are smart. And, you know, they know when people are trying to help them. Even though that horse had PTSD and still kind of freaked out about her, I think ultimately he knew that she was one of the good guys, because obviously he allowed her to kind of take over, you know. So the first episode is done. I'm going to start the second one here. If you enjoyed this react, please hit the like button. I'm excited to get going on Heartland. I know it's going to be a long adventure since there's a lot of seasons, but yeah, I'll say I'm pretty much hooked, or at least curious to see what's going to happen next. So please follow me on Instagram at LazyCatReactions. You can always, of course, email me as well, lazycatreactions@aol.com, with suggestions for shows to consider. I would love to hear from you. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I post clips from reacts I do, or, you know, little graphics, little fan things as well. So be sure to follow me there. Follow me on TikTok as well. And if you're watching this on YouTube, head over to Rumble for the unedited version of this react. And if you're on Rumble, head over to YouTube so you can see the edited version of this react. I'm happy that you joined me for the first episode of Heartland. I'm going to start the second one soon. I'll see you then. Bye.